Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. My name is Greg Phelps. Joining me as usual is dementia care expert Teepa Snow, and our topic for today is technology and seniors. So maybe we can call this the good, the bad, the ugly, because I guess the good could be something as simple as being able to FaceTime with family on the other side of the world. The bad could be the older you get, the harder it is to learn. The ugly could be the number of seniors exploited for money over the World Wide Web or the interweb or whatever you call that thing.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the latest down here, Greg, of an ugly. You get a notice on a text that says, toll pass, you have used your toll pass and you have not paid. And if you do not do this, this is going into, you're going to be charged by the legal system for doing this. And so even my daughter, who is not in the geriatric group, had a question and got up with the rest of us, is this real or is this something I should not do? And it was like, yeah, I had heard about it already, because in my support group I had 3 people who unfortunately had really thought it might be real and actually responded to it in such a way as they got sucked further in. So it's like, oh no. And so state attorneys general, as an example, were really saying, oh, this is really dangerous because it looks so real. I mean, they make it look really good. They know how to go get images and post them up. And unless you're skillful at tracing, okay, where's this really coming from? Or to go at these 3 websites and figure out, this is a trick website. Don't do it. It gets hard. I mean, it is hard for some people. And I usually send it along to my expert and say, tell me whether I should do this or not. It looks fake to me, but if it is real, I should respond, but I don't think it is.
Well, funny that this was actually written for our previous recording session, but this morning when I went to start my computer, it says, do not turn the computer off. You've been hacked. Do this, call this number. And so I had to call the boss and say, do I do this or not? And she laughed, no. It's kind of timely. So if I get sucked in, how many other...
It's tricky. I mean, you really do not want to do the wrong thing because, they make it sound, it's so realistic. On the other hand, these resources are a lifeline. We have friends living with dementia. Their computer is their lifeline. And if people take advantage of them, it is, so they're real shy about connecting with people they do not already know. But once somebody gets inside the system and starts, fiddling away, sometimes my friends are really smart and say, hey, Teepa, I think you've been hacked. It's like, oh, okay, let me go look. And sometimes they're accurate. Somebody has set up a fake persona, and sometimes they're wrong. They were the ones that actually got compromised. And so we have to go back. It is tricky. And the way that we did things during COVID set people up to be more vulnerable because you couldn't go out. You didn't want to go out. It was risky. So you set up accounts online. And unfortunately, some of those accounts, quite large ones, got hacked. And so personal data did get available. So, and that wasn't just the US. That's in many places. So it's why partners that you can trust are so vital in your life. That's why living on your own independently, whatever that phrase was, you can't do what you used to do. You have to have some support structures in place. And you got to build reliable support structures, which can feel really tricky if it wasn't your forte to start with, or if you were that support person and now you're compromised.
I've seen FaceTime, sort of like we're doing, work marvelously well for a mother and daughter. It was just a really neat bonding type of moment. And then I've seen a total failure where the person in care just looks at it and that's a picture of somebody I don't know, or how did my son or daughter get in there? And it just led to mass confusion. So I think you always keep saying know your person, know your person, know your person,
and know the place that they're in that moment, and recognize what support is needed and whether that prop is a great prop or a problematic prop, and the programming still works. I mean, if you don't recognize me, but I'm a friendly visitor, as long as I'm prepared for that as a daughter, that could still work. I mean, the challenge is when I think people are talking to me, I don't even know who they are, and I don't know how they got in my room. And I think they're people, not on the screen, but really there. Where did you go? Are you in the bathroom? Where are you? That then is like that moment where you go, oh, change in status. We need a change in what we should be doing because this isn't working now. And so I would say it's not just the person, the older adult, or the person who's living with brain change. It's the other, folks in the setup that need to acknowledge and recognize, ooh, change. All right, let's modify how people can get into this space. Let's change how the person can get out. Let's decide whether this particular kind of resource and prop is working or not. And I think people don't know how to do that. And so catching up and hooking up with somebody who's more familiar with what's going on for the person and what's possible could be super helpful as a support person, I think, to make better choices about access, about use, about accessibility, about setup, that can make a huge difference in use, effective
There's
use.
one piece of technology that I'm not really comfortable with yet, and that's the use of cameras to sort of monitor people, because I have a right to privacy, but then, where does that go? Can somebody monitor me and see that I've fallen? It's a fine
tricky
line.
thing. And so how do you monitor for safety without interfering with, independence? And I think it's a balancing act. I mean, and some of it has to do with risk and safety seeking. And so we have whole conversations about risk taking and safety seeking, and systems, whether it's a camera, whether it's a audio record system that just captures, that's not typical for what goes on here, or movement. So there are systems now that allow tracking that isn't necessarily super intrusive, but is somewhat protective in risky situations. But it's complicated. I mean, it's super complicated.
Yeah, fall alerts. I can see those being a very useful device, but
They can
some of the
be,
other ones?
or leaving the house alerts
Yeah.
for somebody who, like, wait a minute, it's 2 a.m. Where could she be going at 2 a.m.? Oh, no. She hasn't come back and it's been 10 minutes. What the heck is going on here? Or she went out, she came back in, but she left the door open. And, yikes. It's not locked. The door's not locked. I mean, so lots of opportunities for things, but we have to appreciate more behind what's going on, I think.
So is that where I can talk to a consultant and sort of explore the possible uses of technology? Because it can be good, it can be bad.
Yeah, I think either talking independently or even going with our Care Partner Support series to learn more yourself about this whole thing that you're experiencing, and figuring out your relationship and your role shift and what you are or aren't interested in doing and what they're interested or not interested in doing, so that when you come into a consultation, and when we do the Care Partner Support series, there's a complimentary 30-minute consultation you can ask for. And it's a great way to sort of start that thinking about, this is an area I hadn't even thought about this, but now I am. So there's several ways we could have a conversation that gets us in a better space, I think.
Deepa, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Positive Approach to Care. For more dementia-related information, go to teepasnow.com.